Hey everybody,
Wow.
welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got
Max
with me
disappeared.
Elijah, Max, and Jason will be joining us very soon, I'm sure. Yeah, guys, how's it going? How's your week been?
Good.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Yeah? Anything interesting, anything fun happened this week?
I don't even remember. I just woke up. I just worked like an overnight
Oh,
last
really?
night.
Oh, yeah?
We just woke up right now. You're like, what time is it?
Just woke up.
Like
That's right.
about 4 minutes ago,
Oh,
five
really? Oh,
minutes ago.
jeez. I just got home about the same time, so I was out running around all morning, so yeah. Yeah. Any information, any fun stuff this week, Elijah?
Um, wasn't working. I was at home most of the
Okay,
week.
fair enough, fair enough. I
Um,
ended up, yeah, I was gonna say I ended up going to a screening last night for um, a low budget short film. Here's Jason, all right here. Hey, Jason, we're live now. How's it going, buddy?
Hey.
Hey.
Sorry, Enzo peed all over himself, so I had to give him a bath.
Oh, really? Oh no, Anchorman, how's it going? Yes, big happy birthday, by the way, Jason, to Enzo, your young son who turned 1 this week. Yeah, and
Yep.
Way wrong.
yeah,
Thanks for coming to birthday, guys.
yeah, that was fun. It was cool to catch up.
Oh yeah, sorry I missed it. I've been just working.
That's
It's all
cool.
good.
It was actually fun. All the kids were well behaved, and they were all. It was
Yeah.
cute because they were all within like a year of each other. So it was like a good group of kids where they're like,
To everyone out there,
the-
Jason's extended family has got well-behaved kids, and they're
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
Look,
Oh, look, it's
Yay.
baby Enzo.
That's awesome.
That's
Enzo
with the
heads.
hairstyle. Yeah.
we had all these on the cupcakes.
Uh-huh.
These are all
Yeah.
the extras.
Nice.
I type
Very
one.
cool. Yeah, guys. That was fun. It was good to see, how quickly your son has grown, Jason. He's
yeah.
shooting up. He's got so much hair. Literally, he looked like a little Ronin. Like literally, it was like
Oh yeah, he had his
put him
hair
in a
up.
samurai samurai uniform, and he's set.
I know, right?
Yeah, totally,
Oh,
absolutely.
we got your little toy. He opened gifts this morning.
Oh yes, yes.
He had the little
yes.
kid Jedi. What's that creature?
Nubs. His name is Nubs.
Nubs.
It's
From
from
the-
the Young Jedi Adventures, and he's
Yeah.
voiced by Bradley D. Bradley Baker, who does the
Oh,
Clone
nice.
Wars and everything like that. But he does all the different creature voices and things. But
Yeah,
he kind of
Nubs.
speaks like this, snaps, kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah, it's like a little plush. Comes with a little plush lightsaber.
yes, yeah.
Pretty
I
cool.
thought it was kind of cool. It was a
He
fun
likes
mix.
it. He was all like grabbing it, like by the
Nice.
face and stuff.
Yeah. Drooling all over it. He's only one.
That with the rest of his Star Wars plush. He has like a Wicket and like 2 baby Yodas right now.
There you go. All right. Hey, the Star Wars
group.
collection is growing.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So, Jason, I was just about to say, last night I went to a screening for a short film my production designed called
yeah.
Red Velvet. It went very well. Ooh, hang on,
That's
there's
cool.
the link. It was on the beginning of a feature film, but this is a scene from the film Red Velvet. And a little short horror film. Elijah put it in my head. Next week, I think we'll do a kind of a horror film. What's our favorite horror stuff, and what have we seen in the last year? We'll talk about some horror films next week
yeah.
on the podcast, and do a sit down and talk about that. kind
That
of
time
thing.
of year.
It's time of the year. It's coming up on Halloween. Exactly. Screamfest last night in Hollywood, here in Los Angeles, and ended up by going to check it out. It had a great reception. Got some good laughs. The feature film before it, which was the horror film, it was like a duo set. You watch the feature film and the short film is at the end of it. The horror film itself was made from a French director. Kind of hasn't done a lot, but the first third of his film was fantastic and riveting, and interesting characters and interesting setup. Just on a single location on a single street between two people for the most part, and then it just lost the plot and it went into 2 other side stories that had really no relevance whatsoever, and then it was tried to tie it off at the end, and it was like, yeah, it's weird. Some from French filmmakers do that. I find it's like I find French film very hard to watch. There's always this derivative. They don't know where they're going in the process, for me at least. But
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
yeah.
Oh, if you want a scary French film, check out The
Yeah.
Dreamers.
Oh, The Dreamers?
Scary
What's that?
film indeed.
Oh yeah.
I won't break it down because it's far too explicit to on the podcast, but I'll say
All
it
right.
involves a brother, a sister, and another guy.
Uh-huh.
Doing stuff.
And they don't really do much dreaming or sleeping in those beds.
Okay.
And it's
Fair enough.
takes place, I think, during the French Revolution,
All right.
during a time of riot. No, not during the revolution. During a time of like rioting. I don't know. It was a pretty messed up movie. Scary in a different way.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Scary.
Either way, Red Velvet.
Maybe that'll make your horror list next week.
Sorry, Red Velvet's been dropped at different film festivals around the country. So if I'll keep everyone posted as things go. Hey there, Malloy. How's it going? That
Malloy's
and-
seen Dreamers.
And
Okay.
I also checked out the first 4 episodes of Gen V, which is the boys spin-off series.
Yo, Malloy.
Yeah. So have any of you guys had the chance to catch Gen V yet?
I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. I've only first 4 episodes in, so let's not talk spoilers. But I immediately felt like I was totally in the world of the boys. I mean, apart from the merchandise, it didn't feel like it was totally sidestepped or anything like that. It felt like that those characters completely exist
It's in the
everywhere
universe.
in the universe, and
I
they
mean, it's
also
pulled
have some
straight
cross-
from the G-Men of the comics. It
really?
already was intertwined into the world, so they just basically instead of putting it instead of interlocking it within the main story, they just kind of
Right.
are putting it around it, which is super interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. What's that, Angerman? You're in season 2 of The Boys. Curious, what's your thoughts? It's definitely out there kind of thing. It's definitely a bit violent and a bit, kind of. But I've been enjoying that show, so I'm actually enjoying this so far. Yeah. No, I look forward to finishing the last few episodes of the season that they dropped of Gen V. But I like the characters too. I'm enjoying all the characters and the setup and the format that they've been placing these characters in. So
that's my one problem with the show is the characters feel very been there, done that a little bit.
Okay. But it's
like
a world with superheroes, so it's like.
Well, I just mean personality-wise. Like the girl with telekinesis just reminds me way too much of Emma Frost.
Okay.
The main character reminds me way too much of Monet. It just feels.
But most of the
just like Soldier Boy reminds me too much of Captain America.
No, but these characters, that one it's a little different. It's a little. I know what you mean. It's these characters
they're all familiar
homaging
characters.
anything.
The DC characters are familiar to the
character
MCU characters. Yeah,
But isn't that the point of the boys, though? Like they're all existing, like to get their speedster. Wonder Woman.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, they're not all direct homages. Sometimes they just are power sets.
But yeah, there's some are just like it's tropes of the superhero world.
No, for
so you're
sure.
gonna have those guys.
The G-Men are supposed to be rip-offs of the X-Men, and like if the government ran the X-Men in a morally gray way, and I think they're pulling that off, and the show's good. I just wish the characters felt more compelling to me.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I'm actually enjoying.
I do like that girl that shrinks. She's fun.
Yeah, she is fun. Yeah,
that's what's cool about like
season 1 bit slow. Okay,
where with the Marvel movies and DC movies becoming like are kind of getting that fatigue on that, and so we have shows like Invincible and The Boys to kind of attack those type of tropes. Kind of the same way they came out as comics, like.
Well, I think it's interesting people lump in Invincible with The Boys because it's not as much of a satire as it is just a really good superhero story.
Sure. When does season 2 drop? Do we know?
November 6th.
I
am so excited. I can't wait. I know what's coming. I'm just.
Well, I mean, you could see the similarities between. You could see the similarities between like Invincible and The Boys. How it's kind of like satire on the genre in a sense.
I would say as Invincible goes on, it doesn't really. It's not as much satire as it is an homage to all the things that came before it. Without spoiling it, it's not really the same way The Boys is trying to make a dark analogy about what superheroes would really be like if they were controlled, or if they were uncontrolled.
Okay. Well, let me just put it this way. Well, it's not afraid to be too violent compared to what we get in the MCU.
Oh no, of course not.
I think that's what I'm aiming at. Like where
it's definitely more unrestrained.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it's also a fresh take, and it kind of you step back and have a different gaze on like the superheroes compared to what we do with the MCU, where it's or like DC
Yeah.
regular superhero stuff, which is kind of just like saves the
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
type shit, where there's kind of more I
Yeah.
don't know psychological stuff going on and more
Yeah.
a little bit more realism
I'm
attached
finding
to it.
more compelling in that sense
But
than
yeah,
the
it's like,
MCU stuff.
it's like when they came out with the comics around the same time, like how
Yeah.
it was kind of like a a break from like what the normal stuff is.
Yeah.
You kind of bring this more gritty take, kind of like how the Watchmen felt when it first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How instead of
I
just
would
saving the
say
day, there's kind of like more. It's more complicated than that.
Right.
The good and bad.
Yeah,
There's,
I would
like, the
say,
gray
it's funny.
areas.
Invincible's kind of on the opposite spectrum of that. When you have that dark grayness, I think of like Wanted and The Boys and stuff like that, where it's really trying to show that these superheroes are jerks. But Invincible really, the whole idea is they're people. I love that. I love how it's just like it's a different dichotomy than what you get on in most genres, where they try to make them seem so larger than life. They really bring it back down to the groundedness of them.
It's a postmodern take on the whole superhero concept.
Yes.
That's
for
that's
sure.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's where it is right
Yes.
there. But
That
I mean,
is the
it's such an
exact
but it's like you need to have had this like dialogue of superheroes for this to actually hit well.
Yeah.
And I think
Invincible less so. Invincible, after reading the whole story, it is just such a good story all the way through that eventually.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's like not a good story, but like I feel like it's the context of it kind of requires kind of an understanding of the superhero genre. So like a lot of the normies get to experience like MCU stuff, and then you take this into the mix, and it kind of has that. It hits the same way the comics did at the time when they came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anchorman, answer that question. I love the actor who plays him. I love the character because he's so.
What do you think of his
twisted.
actions?
He's a fellow
his actions. Oh, they're so wrong.
Yeah, he scares me, dude.
He is. Yeah, I mean, like that would be the epitome of if Superman turned evil or was just pure psychotically crazy, it would scare the living shit out of me if someone like that existed in the world that I lived in. It would be like with that kind of power. That is a scary.
Speaking of, did you guys see the Invincible 2 trailer? Speaking of evil,
I don't think I have. No,
it dropped yesterday. It might be worth pulling up.
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Wait.
I don't know why the word evil just reminded me of it, but you'll see in a second. And
okay. All right.
Well, yeah, Homelander scares me the same way Omni-Man scares me.
Honestly, I think Omni-Man would scare me at his evilest. Omni-Man would scare me much more because he wouldn't even. He's so much stronger. You wouldn't even see it coming. He's got like sword hands.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen, I've only seen the cartoon first season, so I'm basing it on that.
All right, give me a sec. Yeah.
You've basically seen what he could do. That I mean, it's like
they show that in the first. They show that in the first episode.
Yeah,
he takes out the whole Justice League basically.
It took 10 issues in the comic.
I like that.
Right. I'm going to keep the volume down loud just so we don't get hit by.
I don't remember if there's music.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look.
We all remember that day. For some, the pain will never fade.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to be my dad. What if that happens? What if I become him and I don't even know?
You turn the volume all the way down?
What's that? Yeah.
You turn the volume all the way down?
Yeah.
Mark isn't like other Viltrumites. He's a good guy.
I'm so excited.
I forgot about that guy. I have to recap on season 1. It's been a year.
Who are you? I call me the Shapesmith.
Shapesmith.
There's an infinite number of dimensions, and I was born with the ability to access all of them.
Okay.
Shut it down, or I take it down.
Make us.
You have no idea how much I wanted you to say that.
Your powers don't make you a hero. They make you dangerous. Make him pay for what he did to your world.
The last 20 years of my life have been a lie.
You want this back? Come and get it.
Wrong choice, asshole.
I like the one-off story of her.
Adam Eve's great.
Yeah.
Arrogant, just like your father.
People of Earth, the more you resist, the worse this gets. And if you think you can stop us, don't forget, I'm...
Huh.
Yeah. Nice.
I wonder if that's an alternate Earth. That looks like an alternate Earth going on there.
I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, all right. No, please do not. No.
All I'll
cool.
say is you're in for a great ride. This is
good season.
Such a great part of the book that sets up so much great stuff and inner conflicts, outer conflicts, and just all the characters get a spotlight to shine.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that too. So there's a few good shows coming out still. I mean, which is cool. It's like, things have been pretty quiet recently. Jason, anything going on with you this week? Anything you watch? Any new shows or anything?
Oh shit! What did we watch? This has been putting on like horror movies.
Okay.
Just randomly.
Fair enough.
We should watch like Get Out, Us. We should watch Lost Boys. Does Lost Boys count?
Lost Boys. That's
technically, yeah.
That counts.
It's got vampires. So it's
No, that counts. Anything that's spooky or Halloweeny or mystery. I was even telling with Brent. I'm like, I would even count Clue as like a spooky Halloween horror movie type thing,
Yeah.
So
just watch Lost Boys. Good stuff.
I watched that too. It was on HBO Max.
I'm more Marveled out than anything. I think we all and DC'd out. But yeah, that's cool. And that's been about it. Nothing new. Nothing cool.
Not that I could think of at the moment. Okay. I'm at like episode 400 of One Piece.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
wow.
The update for One Piece.
Just
okay, wow.
Not even halfway through.
The thriller.
Nearly.
Yeah, right. The thriller arc just passed.
Thriller arc. I guess I'll find out in the live action series because I'm looking.
In like 5 years.
5 years.
More like 20.
I still haven't seen the creator. No, not yet.
Yeah. We got to get you in to see the creator. That's for sure.
I know. My parents were here. Like that would have been a good opportunity, but they already left.
Yeah, fair enough.
It would have been nice to have like
fair enough
family movie day.
Yeah, I haven't seen John Wick 4 yet. Still, I actually haven't seen that one yet.
There's a spin-off on right now, right?
It's not great.
The Continental.
I watched the first episode. It was an hour and a half first episode.
Right.
I felt like I watched a movie that was a prequel to something else.
Okay.
It was like, I don't know. It was all over the place. The ideas were solid. The action was okay, but it's just like an hour and a half of setup in the first episode.
Oh, really?
For a 3-episode show.
Really? Okay.
Oh, Anchorman, I heard that. Like, yeah, my friend watched John Wick, and it's just like very long. The action kind of just washes over you because it's like, with like it's intense action, great action, right? But then like, just end to end, like a good 2+ hours of
it's become a genre film that they can pump up every year, basically.
Well, by 4, well, no, it's done. It's kind of laid to rest right now. But I didn't think they're going to be putting there might be a break between the next one. I think they did announce a number 5, but it might be a little bit because Keanu probably wants to take a break. But by the end of 4, the action was so ridiculous. It wasn't like Fast and Furious level ridiculous, but it was just like almost comedic. How he'd get he'd just fall down a whole flight of stairs, just tumble and tumble and tumble, and be like, I guess I gotta get up and fight these guys again. And it's just like just so ridiculous, but it's also really entertaining.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
You're like, bro,
I mean, you gotta give it up for like
arm at least if you're willing to go down them stairs.
You gotta give it up for like the good choreography that has been in Hollywood lately.
Yeah.
What's the director? What's his name? Chad. I can't remember his last name.
Well, it's when like all the stunt guys get to take the helm, and then like you get to see just a movie that's just like ramped up on their choreography.
I think it's also, I will say, it's well directed. It doesn't just feel like an action YouTube video. It also feels by the 4th one, they really nail down like the vibe of the movie. Everything really feels good to watch. It's a well directed movie on top of the action too.
Cool.
I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, look at what action used to look like. You know, pre Jackie Chan, like pre Rumble in the Bronx.
Okay, even post that, we always talk about Jet Li's The One. I just watched it. Pretty for the first time in years. Pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
And that's with Jet Li.
Totally. Yep.
That was never good.
As a kid, I loved it.
Yeah, but like, yeah, of all the Jet Li stuff, yeah, that one's that one's hard to watch.
I mean, it's just it goes.
It's weird seeing Jason Statham without a British accent, dude.
That's funny.
It goes to the credit of the stunt people and how much incredibly dedicated they are to making things move faster and harder, along with all this stunt work and fight sequences and everything like that. It's.
But yeah, like American movies used to just be like, fight scene. There's be like, all right, yeah, just film this fight scene. But now there's been so much attention put to that. I think ever since The Matrix, the Jackie Chan coming in the scene.
Well, after Matrix, you had all the slow down fights and all that. You had all that Matrix stuff in like every movie.
Well, not just the bullet time stuff, but like the Wu Ping level of like kung fu and stuff.
Yeah. I think what Matrix really did was elevate cinematography along with a fight to make it feel like the fight was more intense by adding just not only just the great cinematography but great CGI to go with that cinematography on top of it.
Yeah, CGI that matches the choreography.
Yeah, and that's what kind of had to make action movies get to the next level of how do we elevate this to the greatest heights.
It's by the time Matrix came out, the choreographer Wu Ping has already had like a prolific career in like kung fu movies, so it was a good chance for like Western audience to kind of finally get a taste of what good choreography looked like.
Right.
And so now that just opened up the door to like other things, like even like the Star Wars and stuff, where kind of like where they kind of focus on a lot of the choreography.
Take that one. I mean, we have to go back to the corridor scene in Daredevil season 1. Just that little fight sequence down the corridor, and it's still incredible.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but it worked, and it was continuous, and it was perfect timing of camera. And
think the introduction of like good fight choreography to that, because like a lot of the stuntmen you have right now, they grew up watching all these kung fu movies and look up to those choreographers. So like, when you watch like old 90s action movies, it's hard watching like the fight scenes because they weren't really focused on that really. It's just like focused on the pyrotechnics, punching squibs and stuff. That was like the main focus until like
getting slammed up against a wall, or getting slammed up some trash cans.
But editing is a big part of it. Editing these fight sequences to be fast and quick.
They tried to get away with that in like the Taken series, where you don't even have to learn how to fight. We could just edit the hell out of it. But now we look at that and laugh.
17 cuts to throw a punch.
All fight scenes should be like that. They
20
live.
cuts to
that 15-minute they live fight scene. Like it just keeps on going and going.
That's when you get like, it's like, all right, what kind of fighting are we used to in Western media? Oh, wrestling. Yeah, let's do that.
Put two guys in the alleyway and let them fight
downtown
like
LA,
15
dude.
minutes, like just bare knuckle fight each other for 15 minutes straight.
Jackie Chan, Karate Kid.
Man, watch the Tuxedo at least. The Tuxedo's a banger.
I've not actually seen that version of it, but I do love the original Karate Kid. So yeah,
the original Karate Kid. That's where it's all three.
There's not a lot of fighting.
Those are prime.
Not a lot of fighting in the first Karate Kid.
Saying, the only Marlon Brando movie I watched was The Island of Dr. Monroe. And it's like, oh wow, cool. Wow. It's like,
you've seen Superman too. Superman, he's
but it's just saying.
I know, but Superman's actually good.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like my generation grew up with like the cheesy Jackie Chan movies. We had like the Tuxedo, the Medallion. We had like all of those.
At least he still had like a say in the choreography and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was still. I still love those movies. It's just the plots are just so bananas, but the action always.
The Tuxedo is such a good premise.
Wilson, the Western one, I like that one a lot.
Oh yeah, Shanghai
Wilson.
Shanghai Noon. I like that one. I like
that. That was good. That's another good one.
Those are good, man. But if you want some good Jackie Chan, watch Drunken Master 2.
That's a good
legendary.
Okay.
That's one of his
All right.
best films he's ever done. I gotta say, Rumble in the Bronx is good stuff.
I've never actually seen Rumble in the Bronx, actually.
All of
Yeah,
his
they're
old
good stuff.
You would
cop
like
movies
that.
are really good too. His cop
That's
movies
good.
that he did.
Oh, Super Cop, dude.
Super Cop. That one's great. Where he's running
Good
on top
stuff.
of was it the train or
Oh,
cars? I
man.
can't remember.
It's like a
Train, I
bus.
think? Bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's running on a double-decker bus, man. Oh,
That was
dude.
sweet. And he did that stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. Rumble in the, I mean, yeah, Armor of God, Meals on Wheels, look at the classics. They hold up, dude. You don't see action like that really.
I mean, it's mostly an insurance issue.
I've been meaning to
he's
see
blacklisted
Expendables
in
4,
insurance.
actually. I've been meaning to see Expendables 4. It came out this past like 2 weeks ago, and
I heard it made $6.
It didn't do well, but I actually enjoyed the first 3. I just haven't had the chance to get to the theaters. I actually had fun with the first 3 Expendables. I thought they were just silly fun. I mean, like, you know,
I just think it's homage to old action movies. You know, it's like, oh, it's that
homage to old actors in old action films.
They ran out of action heroes. They're
We need to work. Let's write a movie
point.
for ourselves so that we can work.
Yeah,
they ran out. They ran out of old school action films, so they got like Megan Fox.
Yeah.
They ran out of people.
They ran out of people. They kept killing them off all the time. So they even had Harrison Ford in number 3.
Wrestlers and like they're like I don't know like who else we got Triple H like it was just randoms.
It was cool to see Bruce Willis and Schwarzenegger and Stallone in the one.
They come in for like an hour.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
To film their scene, but at least they showed up. You know.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Either way, yeah. So guys, Loki season 2, episode 2. We caught it this week. We did a reaction to it. What are your thoughts,
dude? Max brought up a good point while we were watching it. How Loki might be. You said something about a third Loki, possibly.
Oh yeah.
Being, or was that just a? See, because I'm thinking, like, remember, like in the first episode, he gets pruned by someone.
Yes.
Could that be him who got?
Because she had hair.
Well, she's in the elevator and he's looking at her. So like, maybe he pruned himself.
Yeah, it seems like he pruned himself, but it seems like he ends up in that same time period.
So like maybe there's some like overlap of like time traveling happen where like at the end of this season we're gonna see him there find himself so he could prune himself and then just repeat so the whole season is an Ouroboros.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they could throw a complete surprise at us and do something completely wacky.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, you know, it's like you don't want to predict things.
Yeah.
Like with all the speculation online with like people constantly talking about the shows and stuff. Yeah. Even in Game of Thrones, people were able to predict stuff. Yeah. And like in certain shows, they'd have to change certain things, right? Because people kind of guess.
Yeah.
So like with all this like dialogue happening, which has become a part of the culture, gotta admit.
Yeah.
We figure stuff out. So it must be harder for people to write stuff that people can't figure out, especially something episodic like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, also you have to tease it. You have to, you can't just have a major plot thread go completely random. You have to tease it and build up to something.
Sure.
You tease it.
Yeah.
But
as you tease it, people are already predicting.
Someone's going to post it on the internet, and 12 people are going to agree. Then 100 people are going to agree. Yeah. And it's like secrets.
Then take it in a direction that nobody expects, I guess.
Yeah.
Lead them on the thing, and then change your mind. Whatever. It's like keep it interesting. That's kind of like what.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
I think the show could surprise us. I mean,
I hope so.
I think we still have no idea what's to come of this season because it's 6 episodes, 9 episodes. We're 2 in.
Yeah, we're still getting caught up with what's going on.
Yeah, we still don't know. It's like just like last season where we didn't know where we were going until the last episode, and then everything kind of clicked into place and made sense.
Yeah.
That's what I like about this show is each episode has its own arc happening in it, so it's kind of satisfying each one. Not too much like a.
Now, at the end of the first episode, Loki was stabilized, so he's not time traveling as much, or he still is. I couldn't quite understand that. If
he's not time skipping no more, so they had to like kind of so they fixed that by like grabbing him out of the thread while he pruned himself.
Yeah.
To kind of just like refresh.
Yeah.
I guess.
But we have seen some other time periods in the trailers, so I'm curious to know what's
as far fetched as the first episode was of like, oh, you got to do this in order to stop time slipping.
Yeah.
Like as crazy as that was, it made sense. You know, there was some logic to it, and you know, as crazy as the premise is, it felt logical.
Yeah.
And that's some good writing right there, huh?
Yeah,
it's fun
that's
writing.
Some good like sci-fi shit where you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Totally.
I can see that.
Totally.
How much was it was carried
out
out throughout the season, though. I feel like they solved it a little too quickly. I feel like there's a lot of potential for him to be time slipping around for maybe half the season.
Yeah. Perhaps. I mean, but then I guess there are moments though that he was continuously time slipping. There's only so much you could do with that kind of arc without slowing down the process. And letting a story take place. Because right now, I mean, the whole Brad. I think the episode was called Breaking Brad. Actually, is what the title of the episode was.
Yeah, because Brad was the guy.
Brad was the
what's his name? The green dude.
Yeah, he was the agent from the first season, right? So
what's his name?
No, he wasn't in the first season.
What, he wasn't?
No, he's introduced in this season. He's
Zaniac, that's his name.
Oh, I thought he was the one of the.
No, that's a different guy. But you see him.
Okay.
He's showed up in this season so far.
Right.
I thought that's the guy that pruned Loki. I thought that's what they were just trying to establish with that.
Right.
This is the same guy that pruned Loki at the end of last season.
Yeah.
No, that was a different guy. He was like apologizing for pruning.
Okay.
And he showed up in
the same to me in those outfits.
The guy, I know, right? The guy who Hunter sent out to see the variant of Renslayer, and he's all Renslayer, and then that's when he finds out that she's a variant that they pulled from the timeline. It's just another dude who doesn't have a name really.
Oh, I thought he was Hunter X5 though, wasn't he?
He's X5. Oh, is he in the first season?
Yeah, Hunter X5 is who he was from the first season.
Oh shit!
He just had shorter hair. He's kind of let go a little. Yeah. It's supposed to be Hunter X5. Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't remember. Okay, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you need to recap on season 1. Actually, I think I do too. Yes. Yeah, Brad's supposed to be Hunter X5. He was the one who's been a douchebag in season 1. So
oh shit!
But he is now his own, doing his own thing, and it's like, And
I do like how they pulled a random Thor villain as like he's Zaniac, and it's like that's a character that out of all the MCU, he's only. I think he would never appear otherwise. Right. It's not a waste of a villain because he's not even a real villain. Like
he was playing an actor playing a villain in the.
Yeah, it was a good reference without wasting a character. Because if it was if it was a major Thor villain like Hela or something, like it would be a waste. But it's just Zaniac who appeared in a few comics. Then Walter Simonson killed him off eventually.
I know he was kind of like a disposable.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is fine for this. I mean, we have no.
Well, I have been thinking this week.
Yeah,
we don't have an Enchantress in the MCU, which is she's a major Thor hero villain. She's just one of the major side people in Thor's life, and we have yet to see her in the MCU. I wonder if Loki or any of the upcoming projects will bring in this character. She's a pretty important character, and the ideas of magic opening up for Doctor Strange starting to take a big prominence. She could be an important character in Secret Wars.
I can see that. I mean, at some point they're gonna have to break open before Secret Wars. I think there's gonna have to be some point where they break open like all these characters. Like Secret Wars is gonna have like a bunch of characters that we've never even seen before. So there's gonna have to
hopefully
be
Hercules comes back too.
Yeah, there's gonna be some sort of hint to a bunch of people that we haven't even characters that we haven't even seen on screen yet.
Yeah, we got Hercules real quick.
Yeah. When do we think we'll see Kang in this show then?
Probably next episode. I mean, there's only 6 episodes. We have to see him eventually. I mean,
Yeah.
The ending of Ant-Man was this show. It wasn't like the next movie. It was Loki. It was Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston,
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
the British
Oh yeah, that's
man.
it. I forgot that little scene took place. It was taken from the show. So, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a while. But yeah,
you have to see that scene eventually.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Loki episode 2? And
Ki Kwan's great.
oh
yeah,
he's
we love Ki.
Definitely,
I love Ki. He's good in everything.
Yeah, people are definitely theorizing that he is a
variant,
variant of Data for sure from the Goonies. Absolutely,
Okay.
people really want that to be a thing. It's like,
well, he's very data coded, you know.
Oh, totally. Oh yeah, absolutely. I've enjoyed him ever since he was a kid, watching him play that type of character, and he's played the same type of character all of his life. So
yeah,
but this is different. This is like they took a character who could have been a walking info dump, and they made him really fun and likable.
You're right. Yeah, no, totally, absolutely.
I mean, he is still an info dump, but it makes sense for his character. You know?
Right.
Oh,
Exactly. They made it fun to watch him on screen expounding about fake scientific nonsense.
Yeah. And now he's an Academy Award winner. So
he wrote the book, you know. He wrote the manual, so it makes sense.
And
that scene where he asked to get signed, that was a great scene.
That was cool. Yeah. No, I'm enjoying it still, and 2 episodes in, it's good. And I'm looking forward to seeing where episode 3 goes next week. We'll break down a reaction and do that. I was just gonna I mean, again, it's like I haven't had much to talk about. There's not much news this week, but I wanted to go back to Ahsoka for a little bit. I actually dropped some artwork this week from Ahsoka, so seeing some of this artwork, some of the beautiful stuff.
Preliminary artwork.
Yeah, preliminary design artwork. I mean, some of this stuff is just gorgeous. How they're doing it. Sort of
Does Lucasfilm have had the best concept art just ever, like in any studio always? Like even when you go back to like the Indiana Jones stuff with Jim Steranko drawing all the Indiana Jones concept.
I mean, he definitely went after good, amazing illustrators and artists to like do design work, and it's just like just for inspiration, not even to like be on camera. It's like this is what we're doing. Have artwork done so that like just get like an idea to other people, like this is what I'm going for type of idea. It's crazy to get that many good artists to do illustrations.
I
was actually looking at it's funny you pull this up because I was looking at the Jim Steranko Indiana Jones stuff yesterday, and it's crazy just how many scenes that he just kind of just drew, just thinking this would be a good vibe for the character, and and they became a scene. Like, he added the bullwhip and the tan pants and just thought, that'd be fun. I don't know if he'll ever use it, but the bullwhip became iconic.
Right. Yeah. I just going back on to kind of touch base again with Ahsoka. It seems like there's definitely, medium reviews for the series in general. As I said, in the past, have enjoyed it immensely. But I mean, does the Star Wars writing need to change in the future? Does this format have to change? And what does it change to get people kind of invested? And I'm saying, like, as the overall, I feel like we're having an MCU moment where you kind of divide, or actually I should say a DCU moment where people are kind of divided quite greatly over what they've been enjoying and what they haven't been enjoying.
I don't know. Maybe people are expecting, I like Star Wars. And I expect to like everything that's Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, at this point, you can't really think that way, especially with Marvel, with anything now, because it's just like you have to be excited about a certain project and then hope that one is good. It's like, and that's all you can do. Some stand out and are way better than you expect, and some aren't. So
they just need solid scripts. I feel like that's what they're missing. They're like my issue with Ahsoka is that like the character motivation was not even clear for the main characters.
Okay.
And they weren't like, even if it's just a continuation of like the Rebels, it still needs to stand on its own without
my whole thing
connected to that, like anything
I think it stood on its own as much as a lot of people said it did. I think a lot of the ideas that were heavily important in the show were largely unspoken, stuff like the father, the son, and the daughter. Were not even mentioned in the show. That the words weren't even spoken.
Right.
But Balin's arc ends with him standing on the statues, and everyone's supposed to kind of know what that means. And even if you don't, it's just a weird cliffhanger that you just is very unresolved. And I think that's a large portion of the show.
They're
Unresolved hangers with no expounding of relevance.
They're hoping that the imagery should be compelling enough, but I don't know. I think we need more than that. And Filoni kind of just mystery boxed this whole season.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like it's
relying
on too much, but like.
Yeah, I mean, setting up. I'm going to go back to George Lucas's stuff, but when he set up things like the Force itself, he really didn't explore a lot of what the Force skills were until The Empire Strikes Back, because we never had really telekinesis outside of Vader force choking someone. We never had moving objects until The Empire Strikes Back.
But they weren't
Jedi mind tracking.
They weren't relying on it too much for like the story was simple.
Sure.
You stop this giant Death Star thing, and the stuff you got to do. The Force just happens in it. Where like I don't know, there's been too much of a reliance on like look at this Force using, or it was
overusing
lightsabers,
overusing things that don't need to be.
It didn't contribute to like a larger story or a clear story of what was happening,
But if the clear story is not. You're saying a clear story within the arc of the season, or a clear story
within the
galaxy?
The
galaxy, yeah.
Well, within the arc of the season too, or even episode by episode, even.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was.
But
it
if
was
we
that.
do
I think it's just a reliance on the kind of look at these characters. Ain't that cool?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's about it. But everyone did freak out. It did, tickle a lot of senses for a lot of people.
Right.
But it didn't go past that,
Right.
Like looking back, it's just yeah.
So
everyone's kind of like stiff as a board, kind of.
Fair enough. So looking forward, Skeleton Crew will be the next show, which again we know very little about, but we do know, as far as we're aware, it's going to be pretty much all new characters. Nobody's been used before. It's its own entity, and it does tie into the Mando universe of that time period. That's about all we really know. And there's a possibility it could something to do with space pirates. I'm hearing bits and pieces, but I'm not sure what is fact about that. So what are we hoping to see from something we haven't seen? I guess
cohesive story. That's what I
a cohesive story. That's all we want.
I want to see something that's not cliffhanger mystery boxes. I want to see something that's not trying to set up the next big chapter in the galaxy. I want to see something that's just a really good contained story. And I think that's why Andor worked so well. It's because from the start of the season to the end of the season, you got a complete story. And yes, there was a bit of a cliffhanger, but it was not as much of a mystery box.
So we already knew about these characters.
Exactly.
But
it wasn't as much of a mystery box as something like Ahsoka or Mandalorian.
It still had arcs, like 3-episode arcs of like some payoff at least.
Yes.
A massive amounts of payoff in that show.
With character growth and benchmarks for those characters we saw, they were going through changes, and by the end of the season, they were in a different place than when they started. And Ahsoka had that, but it was subtle and I think it was a little too. But it was a little too in the background of the show.
Right.
Yeah, like the
Ahsoka's character, obviously, her characterization was great. I thought.
Right.
Yeah, the characters in Andor had like clear motivations, and exactly what they were going to do, and it was a relatively simple thing, right? And like if anything, it contributed to like how we saw the Empire in the universe. So it's like coming out of that made you hate the Empire even more.
Yeah.
Vane was in the trailer that they showed.
Did we see a trailer?
No. They showed a trailer at the.
Star Wars
celebration, in England.
Oh, okay.
Stuff had leaked online.
Secret trailers, aren't they great?
Yes, but Vane was seen.
Advertisement you don't want anyone to see.
Mando. So obviously, I'm guessing that it's somewhere in this galaxy, and obviously it's in that same time period. So we've seen a character that. So again, we don't know too much more about it than really that.
Let's look at the strengths of Ahsoka. And when you ask like the average Star Wars fan what the strengths are of Ahsoka, it's always like, we got to see Anakin again.
Sure.
you know. But like,
that
I
should be
think
the highlight of a show.
we
It
need,
shouldn't
yeah,
be
exactly,
college
Max.
back.
We need more than just like we're just waiting for these specific beats
But
of like a clip from, you know, the Clone Wars and stuff like
Right.
that. That's great, but as
Yeah.
long as it contributes. But all I saw was that they were just showing us instead
Right.
of like
Okay.
really contributing. They're saying that
But
it's part of her growth,
yeah.
but that was kind of shoehorned in afterwards, you know. It's like showing us these cool things, and then all of a sudden Anakin saying survive, and
Right.
then that's it. That's her motivation to live.
But
Like,
the
it could have been better.
Okay.
It
No. Yeah.
It was
that
a
could
little
be
shallow.
stronger.
It worked for
It
the
was-
moment, but
Yeah.
I think she needed. I think she just needed a big ending moment at the end of the season to cement why she came back, and I think her staying with Sabine wasn't the epic ending moment that she needed. I think
Right.
honestly, this season would have been really good as a bookend to Rebels as the end of Thrawn's chapter. I know they're
Yeah.
going to build up Thrawn and do this whole movie with him, but this if they did a one season arc of her finding her friends through the galaxy and them taking up to finally defeat this evil force, I think it would have been a lot more satisfying to watch.
Looking back at it, I think the one thing that could have helped in the favor of what you're saying is actually getting some sort of a flashback with Ahsoka training Sabine, because that was never part of the Rebels story arc. That was something that happened
they just
after
threw that
Rebels.
out there.
Yeah, and they threw it out there at us, but to have seen
And they're just dancing on their dinner table.
a B story that was related to that.
Well,
and,
see,
and as to where the rise and the fail happened of Ahsoka and Sabine would have been nice to have connected to the present day story that was also playing.
I know Hugh Yang's like reason was that she's a Mandalorian.
Right, exactly, yes. But
I mean, it didn't even bother me. I was like, oh, when did she train her? I wasn't even thinking about that, you know?
Like, it's because they didn't give any background, so a lot of people assumed that was something that was already established. They never,
but it never been established at all. It was
most of my frustration was why was Sabine such an emotional emo girl?
Because Ezra left. That's the real reason, and they never really expounded on anything past that.
But
that's the real reason. I mean,
but that was a plain and simple thing. Ezra says, "Come find me," and that was it. That became her motivation from Rebels, and of course,
I just feel a lot of the show was like tacked on information afterwards. It didn't feel
she just caused more problems than anything, you know.
Sure.
And then it's like I don't know. She was just a frustrating person, and her motivations didn't really seem like.
It was Balin and Shin. At least Sabine had somewhat of an arc. Balin and Shin were very mysterious this whole season. Yeah. Ultimately accomplished basically nothing, getting themselves lost in the galaxy.
They were just put on the back burner in the last episode. You know?
Well, I mean, I don't know. They were like mercenaries joined, and they had some secret mission that you never find out what it is.
They came on strong, and then they kind of just like put it out
to nothing.
Yeah, to nothing.
But again, we know there's a story arc that's going to continue into the second season with those characters.
Yeah, we always know that, but that's not enough to make like a good show. You know,
it's going to need to be a really good. It's going to need to be a really good story to justify recasting the actor after he passed away. To be honest,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
he did a phenomenal performance.
But this is
a great conclusion to this or a great any story to what they gave.
They're either going to just recast an actor at the same age that he is and have that story outplayed, or they're going to do something like he's entered wherever he was entering and everybody else joins up,
dies off screen.
And Shin. No, he enters but then comes out changed, a different person, a younger version of himself. I don't know.
Oh, so they did that. They did that in the Matrix with the Oracle, because she died in between.
Yes,
she died in between the two movies, and then they explained it. She's like, "Yeah, I changed."
But putting it in the reference of the Force and a story being told within the Force, it would be something new we've never seen before, and to have a young fit Balin at the prime, at the prime of his youth, with the knowledge and skills he currently has, with what he was seeking. that is it's a plausible explanation how they might deal with that character if
And then
they
you just
don't
be
want to
like,
cast a same age replacement. I guess is the word.
That's a lot of gymnastics to go through just
It
for
is.
that.
It is.
And it
could
leaves
work
and
in their
it's
favor though.
but it's something that just leaves like massive plot holes. Like why couldn't
But it's
Palpatine
also
just why couldn't Palpatine just figure that out too? You know, it's gonna be something.
Isn't that
like
also
that.
a little bit of a disservice to the actor just to try and wave off saying, "Well, we'll just retcon your death as a plot point in the show to make your character seem cooler."
We have
I think
possibly
they should
like,
continue with the story, but if the story isn't worth it, they should abandon it.
Yeah, these are all ideas that would be probably like the last thing you should try. You know,
I'm almost
last
certain
gambits
though
to try and
that
save it.
yeah, but I'm almost certain that plot line is going to be their way back to the galaxy because I've got a feeling that it's going to lead into.
But why did they go all the way out there just to get lost? To need to go all the way back. They haven't explained anything.
Good point.
Yeah, it's just.
But there's also Balin's still looking for something, so maybe.
I know, but they haven't said what. You can't just go all the way there and just be like, "Oh, we're here," and just have to be like, "Oh, what we came here for was a way to go back."
It's
like,
become
nothing.
what you're saying is become
box.
the mystery box. Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
They mystery box the whole thing, even to the point of like loading a shit ton of mystery boxes in the Star Destroyer. Literal mystery boxes.
But here is the thing. Here's the thing, though. It's not a mystery box to Dave Filoni because he would have thought out where he wants the end run to go. J.J. Abrams does not think about the end run in any of his stories, in my opinion. He thinks about how
It
to
doesn't
create the
matter
mystery
about
box,
what
but he
he
doesn't know
thinks
what the
of
mystery
it.
box.
It's the viewing experience of the viewer that really counts when you're
But
putting
I
out
will
a
guarantee
product.
you that Dave Filoni has a solution to what he is setting up.
There's no failing Dave Filoni.
He is playing it out as long as he needs to the
Dave
feature
Filoni
film or whatever.
Is the Stanley Kubrick of Brent's world.
There you go. Hey, I'm not
trust
going to argue with
yeah.
that. I'm not going to argue with that.
No, man. It could have been better. There's so much better you could do with that. It's
okay. Well, it's
like I just don't like how dull every character was. Like
answers would have changed everything. If we got answers, we would have gotten motivation, and motivation would have changed our opinion on these characters. And
yeah,
I
but
think
remember,
that,
Dave Filoni does not like giving a definitive answer. Definitive answer means that.
It doesn't necessarily mean definitive answer.
Right.
Just
definitive answer means you can't change your lore, and that's the real problem. Is you need to be cemented into something for a story to work.
Okay.
To keep it too loose because you might want to change it later. You know.
Yeah. That's what
like
I'm saying.
Star Wars is famously
ground.
Yeah.
Star Wars is famously retconnable, you know. So
yeah,
yeah, that's true.
That's a problem. I think that's a huge problem, and it's hurting a lot of the shows.
Sure.
It's not even in
this whole season.
Yeah, it's not even in the sense of the actors. Like actors being able to pull off like some actors are better at pulling off of like. There's more to than what you see, you know, just with their character. So you can kind of buy there's more story to be had that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jason's like, I don't know about
there's
that.
ways of doing that though. Like there's better ways of doing it.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe that some of these are just because there's there's too many writers, and maybe some of this might gets cut out and edited.
Well, in this particular case, it's definitely only Dave Filoni is the head writer on this one show. But
but when they said head writer, you have like a writer's room.
Maybe he should have had more. Maybe.
I don't think that's the answer. I think a lot of these writers don't understand what he's doing because he's probably mystery boxing these writers too. And I think the reason why we only got solid lore for stuff that was already explained was because there wasn't anything new given. It was just stuff around it and adjacent to the lore.
Right. Well, going back to episode 5, which is the World Between Worlds with Anakin, that was still the highest rated, I believe, of all the episodes. So there is some sort of a
because Anakin came back.
Because Anakin came back. Correct.
And it was a great performance.
It was a really good episode.
So
that was like the best episode.
Here's my next question. With
made you like the Clone Wars.
With the popularity of seeing someone like Anakin and young Ahsoka and all that, should they be looking at going into the Clone Wars and telling other stories, even though the animated series have told 7 seasons worth of story arcs in that time period.
Depends if the story's worth telling. I think that's the same thing with everything. You
it
know?
all depends on the story. It really comes down to like, is the story compelling enough to like be able to do it then? And do
but I will say,
will the actors fit, and do they have to like de-age?
It might be too late
whole
now. But I'm a firm believer Mace Windu should have lived against that fight with Palpatine. There's no reason every other Jedi gets to get thrown down whatever endless hole they get thrown down, get their hand chopped off, but he gets into one scrap and gets dusted. That makes he should have lived.
No. No, Mace Windu died. Otherwise, everybody would have survived.
Mace Windu was.
Everyone else did die. What do you mean? Everyone else. We
the
saw them all die.
Jedi that escaped. Everyone from Quinlan Voss,
Cal Kestis
who never saw Cal Kestis,
Ezra, and Kanan,
to Kanan,
to
Balon.
Yeah, a lot. I will say
a lot of and plus the entire path. We see the entire path, the concept of the path in Andor, where a group of
Obi-Wan.
young Jedi. But Obi-Wan was sending, they were all sending.
All this says is that Yoda's a big fat liar. That's all that really says. Like, we're kind of just like bringing up Jedi from the dead just to tell a story.
Well, it depends.
To sell more toys, maybe. Like he's like, you're the only one left. You and another.
Well, but when you consider the fact that
a certain point of view, a certain point of view again,
they may have been. Yeah, they may have been Jedi that
and
were
this
once
is the
Jedi,
retconning,
but they are no longer Jedi. Luke was technically the only one still training and was trained by Yoda to become a Jedi.
So Quinlan Voss doesn't qualify as a Jedi, but Leia does.
Huh? About Cal Kestis.
Yeah, but
he literally had multiple masters.
And Cal Kestis. And she's saying another one.
He was knighted.
He was
retconning. He was a full-blown Jedi.
Right.
This is the retconning I'm talking about.
Yeah,
sure. Star Wars is constantly being retconned.
I mean, you can't blame that. That was 50 years ago. That's the kind of thing you can't fully blame.
People want to see Force users with laser swords. It's that simple,
I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it too. I mean,
take my money.
No, we did get to see it, but sometimes it's like Obi-Wan, for instance. That was everything we were asking for, but that show was not good.
Yeah, because it wasn't what we were asking for. I think what people are asking for is compelling stories showing a light in the dark side, and instead that show was just very thin-veiled.
We learned that Obi-Wan is a really strong earthbender.
So do we think that Obi-Wan would have worked better as a feature film like it was originally intended to be?
I think the story didn't have enough going on with it.
They should have had better writing. They need to focus on the writing. They need some once-overs at least,
Right.
And we can't just depend on
nostalgia.
Showing old characters in nostalgia.
Sure. Yeah.
But like that's what that was. Man, like Boba Fett.
Boba Fett was the ultimate example where they just expected people to say, "I like this character, so I love this show."
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Throw in Cad Bane in there. People will love it.
They'll lose their minds, and people did for a second, but then people thought about the plot of the show, and it's so thin you don't even need a razor to poke the holes through. It's just like he's a crime boss, no crime. He works with this gang, but now they're good guys. And it's like none of it actually makes any sense on paper.
But that's what we were waiting. That's what season 5 was for Ahsoka. Like, we're all just waiting for this. Like, I know Hayden Christensen's in here somewhere. And then he shows up, and then we're all like excited about it. But then, that's about it. It's just keys getting jingled in front of us.
In Dave Filoni's specific, sense, and even a little bit Jon Favreau's, writing sense, do we feel like they're writing animated TV shows that should be written by writers who are better pronounced of writing live action TV shows?
No,
you brought this up last week. Like a TV, just because it's bad writing doesn't mean it will work as a cartoon better.
Right.
Like cartoons, there's a lot of cartoons there with solid writing as well.
Right.
But like, I think they just need to focus on more story and writing and character stuff than just wowing us with nostalgia.
Yeah, I think it was really easy with Mando when you had a character who was such a blank slate of just like, you almost at the start you thought this guy has no emotion, and you saw him get really, really emotional, and that was a really easy gradual build to get audiences invested. But then when you have characters like Boba Fett and Obi-Wan that people already know and have already had full journeys, I think it's a little harder for people to get reinvested and to feel the same highs that they felt when watching these characters for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bringing up Mando, I think the finale for season 2 is a blessing and a curse because we've all just been chasing that high, of like Luke Skywalker showing up, because that was awesome. It worked really well. It worked really well with the story, but then I think what they're taking away is the wrong thing, where it's like, oh, if we show a legacy character, people will go nuts. And so that's been like ever since then, it's been an attempt. Well, that one worked perfectly, but like the attempt to do that again has been leaving us with these shows
you can't manufacture that.
That's fair enough. That makes sense.
They don't really do much for a show. You just do the show for making a show's sake, and then you throw in a Cad Bane or a Rancor or something like that, and it should make everything better. But we've learned that that's not what it takes, and that's not exactly what Star Wars is. As legacy of a character that you put in, it still needs to be more than that.
So taking us out of the Empire, taking us out of the story, we're going to be getting the Acolyte next year, and we are getting something brand new that we haven't seen.
As long as the writing is good and the characters have their motivations, and it could be good show. It could be a good show. Anything could be a good show. It doesn't matter what it is. If it takes place in the Star Wars universe, that could only help it. But somehow they've always trying to capture what they think the soul of Star Wars is. And it's not just the legacy character showing up, it's more than that.
It's so much more. It's not just lightsabers. It's not just scoundrels. I think it's,
I kind of think that space battles and lightsabers are definitely
we have not had a show of Star Wars without any of that. And those are always...
But for the most part.
Andor didn't have any...
they had one small space battle in episode 7, I think it was. But
I just watched it. There's plenty.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You had some TIE fighters. You had people loading up.
You saw TIE fighters. There wasn't combat.
They played it differently, though. It wasn't the same kind of adventurous battle.
It still worked, and somehow had like more soul of Star Wars than any of these other shows.
But that's why they need to look inward at. They need to look at doing Star Wars differently, not doing the same kinds of fights in the same angles in space. I think they need to look at. I think one of the things that Ahsoka did really well was how he choreographed the fight scenes to look visually different than anything we've seen in Star Wars, but also look very similar and very refreshing. And it brought it back to the even though I don't love the sequels. The sequel's action was fantastic, and I think Ahsoka kind of brought it to that level of the precise movements that the sequels had.
Yeah. Never, Anchorman. Never. I'm never in the Star Wars. Anyway, guys, I think we might call it an early one here. Next week, I think we're going to go into doing some horror film stuff, and coming up on Halloween, we might just do our kind of like top horror films and any horror movies we've watched and seen during the last year, or TV shows.
We should do a top horror film of all time, and then a top horror film from the last decade.
Sure.
Top horror films from the last decade.
Right. We'll figure something out for next week. We'll do something on that, and then of course we'll be talking about Loki episode 3 next week as well. And we'll be dropping our reaction. Also, make sure that we check out on Wednesday nights Jason's Twitch channel, and we're talking about bits and pieces, sometimes this, sometimes that, sometimes AI stuff and all that, which is a lot of fun.
Anyway, one more thing.
Oh yeah,
the actor who plays X5 was not in the first season of Loki. I just looked it up.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's not.
Oh, the actor or the character?
That character, he's not in it.
Oh really?
X5 is not in it.
No,
rumors get started.
Oh, I thought it was
that same Hunter character. D90 is, and so you might be confused with that guy.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I need to go back, and I haven't watched the first season for a couple of months. So, all right, guys, we're gonna head out from here. So, thanks for joining us, everybody in the chat, and we shall catch you all later.